Dylan, how's it going?
Hello. Yeah, very good. Very good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Busy working away quietly and, working away, looking after aging parents,
Mm,
which is, it has its challenges and stuff.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
taken up quite a bit of my time these last few months. My father was very unwell last year,
yeah, right.
managed managed to pull through. He's 93 years old.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
unbelievable. Sicilian man, lived out of his garden and stuff. So
Wow.
he's pretty incredible, and
Yeah,
mum's a bit frail.
yeah,
And so, that takes up a lot of time as well because they
yeah,
need the time. So
yeah.
just sort of slipping work in between all of that, which is, yeah, it's not always easy, but we get there in
No,
the
it's tricky. I was a carer for my mum when I was 16. She had MS and then leukemia, and then she passed away when I was 21. And then yeah,
I'm
so
so
that
sorry to
juggle
hear
of, of
that.
of work and everything, and I got two young daughters now, 5 and 2, and yeah, it's always just that balance and juggle, and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
people see something from the outside but don't know what's going on.
well, that's just it. That's just it. They don't know what really goes on
Hmm.
behind the screen and what goes on in people's lives. And
Yeah.
regardless of what it is that you do for a living, even if your job is a job of being a public figure of sorts, it doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you don't have stuff to deal with. Of course you do, because life goes on, right?
Yeah,
How
that's it.
how are your babies? How are the girls going?
Yeah, good. Yeah, like it's a massive juggle. My eldest started school this year, and yeah, it's crazy. They just growing up so quickly.
Oh, yeah, make the most of it. Mine's nearly
Yeah.
20, and I just seriously, like, there probably isn't a day that goes by where I go, where did that time go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
Insane.
God.
Yeah.
Like, he's a young man, he's bigger than me, he's kind of, looking down at me, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
um,
it's incredible. And then like just watching them pick up my ukulele or guitars and they're just singing their own songs. They're obsessed with Wicked at the moment and the soundtrack. So whenever we do kindy or school drop off, we're listening to Wicked all the time.
well, at least it's not Frozen, Dell.
Yeah,
So
I reckon. I reckon.
what can I say? Wicked is probably musically a little more
We're
interesting.
we're getting there. We're getting
Yeah.
there.
Just avoid that one because it'll be like it'll get into the ears, it'll be an earworm, and
Oh
then
no, we've been
they'll
there.
never switch off. Okay. So tell me, how um how has the ride been for you so far, the adventure been for you since the Idol experience? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on it. Oh, we're frozen. One sec. One sec.
Oh, here we go. I
Here
hear
we
you.
go. We're back. There we go.
Okay.
We're back now.
Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. How's that adventure been?
Yeah, incredible. I mean, I've been doing music for 15 years and
Yeah,
started busking. My mum was an amateur opera singer. And
she
so,
was.
yeah, just like with church and everything. But she saw me picking up some, like, I was always singing around the house. That was my happy place. And
Mm,
she saw me picking up some bad habits along the way. So she put me into singing lessons when I was about 12. And then I was super shy. So she pushed me on the street to start busking at the same time. And
mm,
that was such an incredible experience to get that exposure to people. And I never thought that I'd go on a TV show ever. I thought it was super
yeah,
easy as well. Like you learn one song a week. I can do that. Super easy.
yeah,
But it was hard. I was sleeping 4 hours a night,
yeah.
trying to do social media, trying to be a dad, husband, friend. Um, yeah, it was incredibly hard, but it was so worth it. I felt like I learned so much with my range and being on stage and talking to people. And it just went by so quickly as well.
Mm. Did you ever? did you ever feel out of place going through those things? Because that's a lot of juggling to do, and people,
Yeah.
perhaps the people that are watching us right now aren't really aware, and nor can they be, right? They can't really know what goes on in people's lives. Would you do anything different if you were to go back and do that experience again? What would you do
Yeah,
that's different?
probably. I'm not sure. I mean, there's probably a lot of things different I could do. Um, but I don't know if that would lead me to where I am now at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, so it's one of those things. I'm always trying to better myself as well. So yeah, I don't know. Was just it was so full on, and you're trying to juggle everything at the same time, and then especially after the show, you're trying to just be full steam ahead as well. And I booked a run of 30 shows. I wrote 20 songs in 2 weeks, and I was like, let's go, let's do it. So yeah,
Did
put out an
you?
EP.
Wow, did you sleep in those 2 weeks writing 20 songs?
Yeah, yeah. It was. I think because I hadn't written in a while, there's so much to get out as well, and meeting people and hearing their stories. So I wrote with some friends, and they like. I love getting together at the start of a session, just sharing stories with each other, and then just seeing, just molding those stories together and seeing what happens. So
Mm,
yeah, that was really cathartic, I guess.
yeah. Well, they're great experiences because those experiences that you have when you are able to take those stories and weave them into a melody, a
Yeah,
song it
yeah,
is cathartic. It's therapy is what it is.
yeah, 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 big
You know what I
time.
mean?
And then people, connecting with that. I mean, you would see that all the time. I guess I grew up with "Don't Ask" as an album. Like I'm a '93 baby, and my mum
Oh,
would play that album all the time. So
oh,
I brought it actually. I bought it on vinyl for my neighbor for Christmas, and we played it all day. So, I
oh,
mean, that's therapy in itself.
yeah. Well, I guess that's lovely. I guess those things are those records that you hear in your formative years, they
Mm,
really, really shape your musical taste.
yeah,
They shape what you're attracted to
yeah,
musically. Um, yeah, you learn all sorts of things, you know. I mean, I
mm,
never knew Don't Ask was going to be the record that it was. I didn't know. You
yeah.
were, you know, I'm considerably older than you, 25 years older than you. And I was 24 when that record came out. And I'd gone through so much emotionally, with
Mm,
constant rejection from the industry at that point because I grew up on TV. I was a TV
yeah,
kid,
yeah.
70s. And the 70s was a tough time to be ethnic. It wasn't easy. It's
Mm,
a very different world now. It's
yeah.
beautiful. It's certainly evolved. People are much more open to where you come from, what you've learned, what you have to offer. But back then it was really tricky because I wasn't the kind of gorgeous blonde, blue-eyed girl that, would make heads turn. I was really different, sometimes a little bit polarizing because I was talking about things then that girls didn't really talk about, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So that album was a revelation for me. And I wasn't conscious about it. It was only until years later that I went, oh shit. Okay, so that song was about that. And that's what I
Yeah,
was going through at the time. And that's what
yeah.
inspired that co-write, that song, that theme, all those sorts of things that
Mm,
that you bring into your work. I wouldn't have, if someone had told me that was going to be what it was, I would never have believed them at all.
yeah, yeah. It's strange how songs come out of nowhere, and I don't know. It's like your inner workings know what they want to come out, but you haven't realized that yet, in a way. So yeah,
It's
years later
almost
or months
you're
later.
yeah, exactly. It's almost like it's premeditation of
Yeah.
what you might go, of what you're going to go through. And I say that particularly with Chains. I knew when that song was penned I knew there was something about that song
Mm,
emotionally that really struck a chord with a lot of people, who
yeah.
hasn't felt like they're in chains. And that's why that song resonates, because it comes from such an honest place.
Yeah, it's
And
authentic.
nobody was really speaking about that struggle. When that record came out, people were
Mm,
doing ballads and, oh, I love you and da da da. And I was like, what? You
yeah,
know,
you just ripped it a new one.
I just ripped a new one. I was just like, yeah, nah, it doesn't work like that. And I also didn't want to put myself in a position of vulnerability like that. I
Mm,
did want to talk about the dark side of life, because there is light and there is
mm,
darkness. And
yeah,
that's what makes life really interesting.
yeah,
You know, it's the
yeah,
combination of both, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
listen, I'm really it's funny, I don't watch TV. I haven't watched
Neither.
TV. I haven't watched TV in a long time, Dylan. I think the last time I watched television properly was when Gabriel was growing up, when he
Mm,
was a little boy, and we would watch The Wiggles, and
yeah,
we
and
lived
Sesame
in
Street.
yeah, we lived in Sesame Street, and we lived in London at the time, and so the BBC used to produce amazing stuff for kids, and so that was the last time that I really watched TV. But I did catch a couple of glimpses of what you did during your time, very briefly. I remember being struck by something that you had, and
Mm,
it's an aura, it's a presence, it's a spirit.
mm,
And I really liked your spirit a lot, because I thought, here is a young man who doesn't have a problem in being vulnerable.
mm, yeah,
And that's a very beautiful thing, when males are always taught to be strong, and you've got to be this and you've got to be that and you've got to represent this and that. And it's like, really?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
sure, strength is a good thing, but it's also important to reveal those inner thoughts. And I think that's probably what sets a lot of people apart. So
yeah.
I found that in you.
Yeah,
Hence the
thank
reason
you.
why you're coming on the road with me. So
Well,
I was
make me
like,
start crying.
yeah, no, 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 it's the truth, Dylan. It's the truth.
Oh,
It's the
thanks
truth.
very much.
There's so there's so much beauty in that, but there's so much power in that.
Mm,
Being
yeah,
able to be vulnerable and
yeah,
to reach out, and because people can absolutely identify with that.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's that
that's not a,
connection.
yeah, and it's a strength. It's not a weakness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been yeah, a long road, but I think having a strong women around me throughout my life has kind of brought that vulnerability and um I don't know, softness, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, and music being what it is, you need that kind of emotion with it, I think, to connect
Mm,
with people.
mm. Well, I feel that music these last few years has been incredibly reflective of how society is. So
Mm.
it's kind of a little bit suspended for me.
Mm.
It's not really here or there. And having
Yeah,
said that, there's always beautiful things that rise to the surface, you
yeah.
know, but you've got to kind of go looking for it a little bit more now, a
Yeah,
lot
there's
more
so
now.
much. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
because there's
everywhere.
a plethora of material, and it's not curated. We grew
Yeah,
up in a period where music was curated. I think there's a lot to be said about that curation. It's a good
yeah,
thing. Whereas
yeah,
today, I kind of feel like I'm out in the middle of this huge open space, and there's no poles sort of saying, giving me directions to go in, sort of
yeah,
in any sort of place, any kind of
yeah,
direction. I don't get that. So I feel
yeah,
lost when I listen to music today, and some really resonates with me, and some gives me an idea of where these spirits are at.
Mm.
You know, and
Mm. Yeah, and
some
I
are,
feel like that's why people keep going back to, what they grew up on, or those artists that they just know, and were not told to listen to, but it was on the radio, or it was on a TV show or a
yeah.
movie. It's kind of, yeah, homely. Whereas, yeah, now it's just there's so much. You're like, where do I look? It's overwhelming.
Correct. So it instantaneously creates a confusion. Where to
Yeah,
me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. Um, I always loved growing up. I loved watching people's evolutions. I
yeah,
loved,
yeah.
I loved the growth aspect of an artist. You know,
Mm,
I found that to be incredibly privilegious, actually.
yeah.
Watching David Bowie evolve, watching George Michael evolve, watching a
Mm,
Stevie Nicks evolve, all these women and all these men talking about whatever they were experiencing emotionally or what they were observing, and they put
yeah,
it into music, and it really resonated, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Philosophical. Yeah.
well, there's not enough of that because it's funny. I've always thought, and I could be wrong, I could be very wrong, but I've always thought that our job as singer-songwriters is to be observers of the worlds with which we live in and
Yeah,
to talk about those worlds
yeah, yeah.
and to not be frightened to talk about those worlds, even if you ask questions and people might be confused or not understand where you're coming from.
Mm,
Um, I think that's the thing that will ultimately be the salvation, I think, of somebody.
yeah, yeah. Because it's okay to disagree, and I think people have forgotten.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we have, people have forgotten it because we're not encouraged to agree to disagree.
Mm,
We're not all going to have the identical perspective, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's healthy
And
to broaden everything. I think that's how you ask more questions and find new
correct.
answers.
It's correct. It's healthy to disagree because then it permits you to actually learn more about it.
Yeah,
Why do we disagree? You know,
yeah,
oh, we disagree because of that. Oh, wow, I never really thought of that point. Wow, that's
yeah,
interesting. Oh,
yeah,
wow, yeah, I never saw it like that. Wow.
yeah, yeah,
And then you'll dig a little deeper.
yeah, yeah. Exactly, and that's why I love listening to albums and, yeah, watching the evolution of artists. And I've got songs ready to go at the moment, and it's, you're in that chapter of life where you want to get these little babies out and then move on to the next one, because people can connect with that chapter and they might not like your next one, but you know that evolution's taking place.
Peaks and troughs. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
You're not everybody is going to love every single thing that you do. They're not going to connect with every little single thing that you do.
Mm.
Uh, I think that's humanly impossible to make everybody happy.
Yeah, yeah. I've learned that very much so the past year.
Yeah. And that's a good thing to learn. As long as
Yeah.
you're happy, as long as you're convinced in what it is that you're doing, then
Mm.
people will either agree or disagree. And that's perfectly normal and perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
good to come to terms with.
yeah, I think it's imperative to be at peace with that. You
Mm.
have what I liked about you is that you showed a level of emotional intelligence that I found equally as inspiring as your level of musicianship,
Yeah,
if you
thank you.
understand what I mean.
Thank
Because
you. I mean, I was the oldest on the show, that's why.
maybe, yeah, there's a lot to be said about somebody that has a particular age. I think probably it plays a little bit of a role as to why I haven't completely retired. I will, for
Mm.
sure, at some point. But I feel that if you lose perspectives and
Mm.
experience of a woman or a man of a certain age, I think you're in deep shit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I really
Definitely.
do.
Yeah.
Because music is for every single age. Therefore, somebody that has a particular age like me has lived a certain life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I shouldn't stop communicating about that just
Yeah.
because maybe an industry doesn't see me viable anymore because I'm not in my 20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be in my 20s.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been there, I've done that. I'm
Yeah.
now in my late 50s, and I'm probably at a more peaceful place in my life now than what I was
Mm.
in my 20s. I was searching constant.
Mm. Yeah. What were you searching for, do you think?
Do you know what? Growing up in that era, with the music business being the way that it was, there were certain artists that were successful in whatever musical genre they were in.
Mm.
And then there was a modus operandi of perhaps following in the stylistic, musical, or visual aspect of those particular popular artists of that time. It
Yeah.
was very much a done thing, you know.
Mm.
Beyonce had a hit, well, then all of a sudden you'd see three or four different Beyonce type of
Yeah.
artists doing that kind of music, or somebody else that was perhaps much less mainstream. So they were formulaic things
Yeah. Yeah.
that record companies used to really do back
Yeah.
then, which I used to find really frustrating because I was like, well, I'm not them.
Yeah. You put you in a corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's like, why are you trying to put me in a box when
Yeah.
I'm me? That person is that person. That's where they are. That's where they want to be, or not. That's where they belong. Why do I need to emulate that? So I
Mm.
struggled with that a lot. I was very rebellious, Dylan.
It's good. Speaking up.
Always spoke up. Just it is what it is. I wanted. That's just what my intuition and what my instincts told me to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was probably right some of the time. I was
Mm.
probably wrong some of the time,
Yeah.
but I assumed it. I
Yeah.
assumed I assumed the wins and I
Mm.
assumed the mistakes as well.
Mm.
I would
Yeah.
prefer to make those decisions that may have not evolved because I'd rather leave that responsibility with me as opposed to
Mm.
pointing the finger at somebody else and saying it's your fault. No, I
Yeah.
took, I was accountable for it, and I
Yeah.
hold myself accountable for it. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I've survived.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Strong-willed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely
Yeah.
strong-willed. It's
Yeah. And that's
without
why
it.
these songs have just continually, you know, stuck around generations now, which
Yeah,
is incredible. Like, not many songs can do that.
no.
So
And
it's,
that's
yeah,
a
it's
real,
a testament
uh,
to you.
yeah, absolutely. It's a testament to me. It's a testament to the people I chose to
Mm.
collaborate with, who helped me bring those things and those pieces of music and those stories to fruition. I'm eternally grateful to them,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know, because those
Yeah.
things, those little bodies of work would never have happened without the help of others. A career is not constructed on your own. It
Mm.
requires people, it requires the faith in what it is that you do in order
Mm.
to go places. It
Yeah.
requires honorable intention.
Mm.
That's what I feel. And that's what still drives me
Mm.
is that honorable intention.
Yeah. A good team on the same level as you, driven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you haven't got a good team, you can just say sayonara, see you later,
Yeah.
because it can't happen without a good team. So
Yeah.
don't be delusional. Do you know who I discovered about a year and a bit ago? I don't know if you know him. His name is Ren, Ren.
Yes, UK based.
Yep, he comes from the north of England.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Very young man. And when I discovered him through a friend of mine, um, I looked at him and thought, wow, wow, I couldn't believe it. So Ren has a very interesting story.
Mm,
Clearly grew up poor. I don't think he grew up around money. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think he comes from anything. I think he comes from a working class family. And Ren was very, very, very unwell and
mm,
was institutionalized, I think, for a while.
mm,
And it's what's really interesting about him, since I was lucky enough to stumble on him through a friend, just watching this young man's growth and the
yeah.
way that he stretches himself musically,
Mm,
he is mind blowing. Mind
yeah,
blowing. Now, this young man blew up around the world where I believe every single record company in the world chased him.
yeah, wow.
They threw everything at him, cash, everything, promises, da da da. He is so brilliant emotionally and
Mm,
intellectually that I think he's chosen to remain independent.
wow, wow.
Massive success. He's gone back to busking on the streets.
Really?
Oh, and what he does and the music that he plays with and how he interprets it with his friends and those people
Mm,
that surrounded by him. I just go, Holy Lord, you
yeah,
are, he's a gift.
yeah, yeah,
He's a gift. So
yeah,
that kind of, I just went, see, when
yeah.
you are driven with the right motivations and you
Mm,
trust your intuition,
mm.
pretty incredible what you're capable of doing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, so authentic. He's
Oh,
just making the music that is for him, and so many people can connect with that. Yeah, it's incredible.
unbelievable. I mean, who hasn't had mental issues in these last 5 years? Like,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
speak for other people. I can certainly speak for me. I've had some really, really dark times,
yeah,
very dark times.
yeah.
Light managed to supersede the darkness, thankfully.
Mm,
But
yeah,
that darkness was probably also important for me to learn things as well, because it
yeah,
taught me a lot
yeah. Massively. Like, I mean, that's why you need darkness to find the light as well.
all the time, all the time.
Yeah,
So anyway, Ren, I just thought, yeah, I thought that you might really want to just check this spirit out. What a spirit. I
yeah,
just went, oh my God,
yeah.
he's a spirit. And I love a spirit. That's what I
Mm,
love. That's just
yeah,
what I'm into very
yeah,
much. So
yeah.
are you looking forward to the tour?
Oh, I can't wait. It's got, oh, yeah, as soon as that came in, I was just so excited. So thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to be blown away every single night. It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to my audience getting to know you a little bit. I
Mm,
think that that's really, I'm sure some of them do already. So there's,
yeah,
probably not,
hope.
you don't really need much of an introduction, but I'm happy you said yes. So thank you
Oh, no,
first and
pleasure.
foremost. And I think that you're going to be yeah, really, really beautiful aspect of that show. An opening for me. I feel very, very warmed that you're going to be able to do that. So by the time I get on there, I know that the energy is just going to be stunning. So I
Yeah,
want to thank you
hopefully.
for agreeing. Oh, it will be. It will be.
No, thank you. Yeah, hopefully it'll be nice to be solo, acoustic guitar, and some voice, and like incredible theaters and places to play at. So yeah, I think a lot of my songs have a lot of emotion and storytelling. So hopefully people can get there early and just kind of soak in the night. It's so, I think I find it just so incredible to go and watch people perform and connect with them in that
Mm,
space. And
mm.
you're all there for the same purpose. It's really special.
It is really special. It is absolutely special. I think everyone's in for a real treat, to be honest.
Mm,
I think they're in for a
yeah.
real treat. So we start soon and I'm looking forward to it. What have you got planned? Have you got just a new record coming out, more tour dates?
Yeah, I've
Come,
got some more tour dates. I'm going to be playing. I had a EP release closer to the end of last year,
how'd
so
that go?
playing.
How's it going?
Yeah, really good. It got number one on the country ARIA charts, which was very exciting. And today it's just gone to number one on the iTunes charts, which is
Oh,
incredible. So
congratulations.
thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yay, Dylan. That's so
yeah,
good. Cheers.
yeah.
Water.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So yeah, just and I'm constantly writing. So I'll play a few new songs and see how they go.
Amazing. Well, look, we're really, really excited, very genuinely. I say that. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? Have a
Good.
conversation. I'd be happy for you getting up, doing your own thing and whatever. As long as you have fun, that's the most important thing. But I wanted people to get a little bit of an insight into you just
Mm,
personally, and then once you get up on stage, because it's pretty special. So I'm
yeah.
very excited to have you
No,
come
thank
on the
you.
road with me.
Thank you. Be a part of the family.
Yeah, you'll be a part of the family and you'll have a really good time and you'll have a good giggle as well. Because I
Yeah.
family is pretty special. My
Yeah.
touring family. They're
Yeah. I can't.
incredibly wonderful at what they do. And
Mm,
they also have a really good time.
yeah. Good. That's what you need in that
Yeah.
kind of touring family, always
Yeah.
together, and it gets a
Yeah.
bit wild and weird. But yeah, you miss
Yeah.
home, and yeah, it'll be really cool. Really cool. No, thank you so much.
No, no worries. Well, at least the family will be able to come to the
Yeah.
show in Brisbane and on the Gold Coast, and so
Yeah,
that they'll
I've
be
got
able
some
to see it.
family spread out around the country, so it's going to be nice to see them, and they love you, so they probably even won't come to see me. They'll just come to see you, so
Oh,
it'll be
no.
good.
They'll be there for you, so they should. So
No, they
they
will.
should, and they'll have a great time. Darling, I want to wish you a really happy day. Congratulations with the number one record on iTunes. That's
Thank you.
saying something. That's a wonderful achievement. It's really
Mm,
deserved.
thank you.
Congratulations. Um, I'm just really excited for wherever life and music takes you. I know that it'll take you somewhere because you're a good man and you deserve the best.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I appreciate your time and appreciate everything you've done, especially for my life, like with the music and everything. It's just been incredible to have that in my life. So, and then to be able to share the stage with you coming up, it's going to be, yeah, really something super special. So, thank you.
It's special when spirits come together. That's what I
Yeah,
think is really special. It's not just about me, but it's about all of us coming together with a
yeah,
common goal. And that
yeah,
common goal is that people, when they enter that theatre, that for the next 2.5 hours, that they can just totally trip away, I say.
yeah, yeah. Being in the moment and just soak it
That's
all in.
it. That's
Yeah,
it. Not in the past, not in the future, just right there and then. It's great. Darling, have
yeah.
a really fab day. Love to the
You too.
family. I look forward to meeting them
Yeah.
and good luck with everything. And I'll see you really soon.
Thank you. Yeah, very soon.
Yeah, it's far out. I can't believe it. It's happening soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see
No,
you
thank
out
you.
there, okay?
Yeah, see you then.
All right, darling. Have a great day and thanks so much for the chat.
No, I appreciate it. See you soon.
Me too. Me too. Have a fab day. Bye,
Bye.
sweetie. Bye.